Please press bell icon to subscribe to my channel Seema Gautam for more videos. Hello everyone, today we are going to learn one of the most important chapter in geography, migration. Part 1 we are going to do first. In this chapter we'll learn about human migration, reasons for and theories on human migration, examples of human migration. So now we will learn about the migration. What is migration? Migration is a movement of people from one place to another. Migration is a movement of person or a group of people to settle in another place, often across a political or administrative boundaries. Nowadays, many people decide to migrate to have better life. Employment opportunities are the most common reason due to which people migrate. Except this, lack of opportunities, better education, construction of dams, globalization, natural disasters like floods and drought, and sometimes crop failure forced villagers to migrate to cities. Can you see two sides of the coins on your screen? Migration is also same. How these coins have two sides, heads and tails. Together they make up the whole coin. So is it with migration? Yes, there are two sides, immigration and emigration. Together they make up migration. When a person leaves his or her own country and moves to another, it is called immigration. The person who immigrates is known as an immigrant from his or her own country. Next, when a person arrives in a new country after leaving his or her own country, it is called immigration. We'll move further to learn types of migration. There are two types of migration, reason-based and place-based. Reason can be pull and push factors, and another one is the internal migration, that is within the country, or international migration, that is any part of the world. Migration can be temporal or permanent, and it may be voluntary or forced. There are different types of migration, like migration can be internal. In this, people moving within the country from one place to another, or external, people moving to new country or continent. Temporary migration could be annual, seasonal or daily. For example, people may move to lower regions from mountains during harsh winter months. Migration between rural and urban areas based on the direction of the movements, which are rural to urban, urban to urban, rural to rural, urban to rural. As you can see in the graph given, the x-axis represents migration streams, which are rural to urban, urban to urban, rural to rural, urban to rural, and the y-axis represents migrants in millions. The slant lines bar represents male, while the crisscross one represents females. As we see in all the migration, the percentage of females are more compared to males. And the main reasons for this is that after marriage, the females shift from their parents' house to husband's house. Rural to urban migration. In this type of migration, people move from rural areas to cities mainly in search of better job opportunities. Apart from jobs, better educational opportunities exist in cities. There is also an opportunity to adapt and enjoy an urban lifestyle and health services. This type of migration is common in developing countries like India. A few other reasons for this type of migrations are village cannot support a rapid increase in population, reduced food supply, shortage of land, and introduction of mechanized farming where machines replaced human labor. Next is rural to rural migration. This type of migration takes place when people move from one rural area to another. This happens for various reasons: acquisition of property, marriage, better resources, etc. In rural India, girls usually leave their villages after marriage and go to live with their husbands in another village. Many people also leave their villages and migrate to different villages where they can buy land because the land there is more fertile. Moving further, I'm going to learn urban to urban migration. Migration from one city to another happens when people of one city choose to go to another city, generally a large one, in search of better jobs, educational facilities, health facilities, etc. For example, many students and professionals from cities like Patna, Allahabad, and Lucknow go to Delhi in search of better opportunities. This type of migration also happens when the population of a city becomes too big and begin to affect the quality of life there. As a result, many people choose to shift to a new city where the quality of life is satisfactory. For example, people from Delhi are moving to satellite towns like Gurgaon and Noida because these cities also have satisfactory amenities. Moving a large government office or other establishment from one city to another also cause large scale migration of people from one city to another. Last but not the least, urban to rural migration. In this type of migration, people go back to their home in the villages for several reasons, such as to look after the property left behind by their parents or marry a boy or a girl from there. Some people also return when they find there are no suitable job opportunities in the city or are unable to find proper shelter. Sometimes the cost of living in the city is very high, or the migrants are unable to cope up with the traffic and the pollution. One more important reason happen to be seasonal workers who are left with no jobs left once their deal is over, and now the only alternative remains to go back to their own village and search for alternative to earn money. Urban rural migration is common in conservative countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan. Now we are going to learn in detail about the voluntary and involuntary migration. People either choose to voluntary migrate or the involuntary migrant, which is called forced one also, or are put in the situation that encourages relocation, that is reluctant. Forced migration is a negative form of migration, often caused by the persecution or the exploitation. The largest and the most devastating forced migration in human history was the African slave trades, which carried 12 to 30 million Africans from their homes and transported them to various parts of North America. Latin America and the Middle East, those Africans were taken against their will and forced to relocate. In forced migration, a government or authority forces people to move. Another example of forced migration would be the millions of Jews deported to concentration camps during the Holocaust. These people were not given a choice about whether they wanted to move or they want to move. Reluctant migration is a form of migration in which individuals are not forced to move but do so because of an unfavorable situation at their current location. After the calamity caused by Hurricane Katrina, many people decided to either move further from coast or out of state. With their homes destroyed, the state's economy in ruin, and sea levels continuing to rise, many people reluctantly left. Voluntary migration is a migration based on one's free will and initiative. People move for a variety of reasons, and it involves weighing options and choices. Individuals who are interested in moving will often analyze the push and pull factors of two locations before moving or before making the decisions. The strongest factors influencing people to voluntarily move are the desire to live in a better home and employment opportunities.